under the sea, under the sea. I'm hyped. Bring it. Calm it down. Calm it down, Papa. Chill. Have a dedicated multiplayer mode where you can party versus party. 3v3 for. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, baby. That's a good one. I like that one. That's a hot one. Low-key wondering how they'll do the underwater theme with characters that need air to breathe. First of all, Jeff Bites, I don't even know how you came up with that. Like, what were you? That's what you thought about. So next season, you was just like, how are they gonna breathe? Welcome back, everyone, to Poppin' Often with Podcast Lofton. Ever since I read that in the comments, I love it. I asked you guys the question last week, what are some new things you want to see coming to Disney Speedstorm Season 6, The Little Mermaid? It's right around the corner, so I wanted to know. If you enjoy my podcast, make sure you subscribe. I do a podcast talking about Disney Speedstorm every single week, and if you want your comments featured in the video, I do a community post every single week, which you can comment on, and I grab the comments from there. So with the first comment, I'm gonna do a two-parter because they kind of share the same thing. So the Anna Banana said, I'm excited for the new map. I am too, Anna Banana. I am too. The new map I think is going to be fire, but I'm going to talk more about it later into the podcast. Jeff Bites also said, I'm excited to see the new track. Low-key wondering how they'll do the underwater theme with characters that need air to breathe. First of all, Jeff Bites, I don't even know how you came up with that. Like, what were you? That's what you thought about. So next season, you was just like, how are they going to breathe? Honestly, I appreciate that you're caring. I appreciate that you care for the walks of life. I do. But I think because lore-wise, Disney Speedstorm is a arcade game. It's an arcade game in an old arcade building. So I'm pretty sure RB made it so that they put in cheat codes for the character to breathe. That's like the best thing I can come up with lore-wise. So I don't think they're gonna do anything special. I don't think they're gonna give us helmets or anything like that. I think the way to get around this is just saying that RB programmed us to be able to breathe. That's pretty much the best that I got for that answer. But I am excited for the new track. And again, I'm going to talk more about that later in the podcast, but I don't want to give away all of what I want to talk about without looking at all the other comments. Thank you, Jeff Bites. I appreciate you 100%. And the Anna Banana, thank you as well. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your comment. Let's move on. The next comment is from Hornet. They said, I'm excited for the new Little Mermaid map because there is potential we could have two sections in one map that are very different. Ooh, true. I do like that. I do like that. The odds of having an underwater plus a like on the beach type map, I think that's something that they're gonna do. With the image that they had that they shared with us, we can see Mickey underwater and we can see that they're going into the castle in Atlantica. So I'm wondering if they're gonna just take the approach and pull off another Frozen season, which I don't think that'll be great. I think I would really love to just go maybe around the castle, but just as you said, being able to have a two-part map, I know they can do it, and I really can't wait to see what it looks like. I'm right there with you. Let's move on. An underwater section and an on-land section of the map, that's exactly what I just said. I'm hoping it's not just all on land because that's just missing a big opportunity to make some fun changes to a very stale game. I definitely think they're going to be underwater because in the splash art that they showed us on the roadmap, you can see Mickey in the corner. There's no reason to put him underwater if you're not going to be underwater. It also shows that there's bubbles coming out of his exhaust. So definitely going to be an underwater map. Now, as far as the two section parts go, I'm not sure if they're going to do that. I really, really would want to see that, but I still think an underwater map would be dope. So I'm not even complaining if they don't, but that would be a really cool step in the right direction for how cool these maps can get. They have some very beautiful aspects to all of their maps, and that is something I can't wait for. Like some of the maps are just very bland gameplay wise. You think? I guess I can agree with that. I mean, it's like I disagree and I do agree. I get what you're saying. The maps are beautiful, but when you play them, nothing special happens. It really only happens if you turn up the difficulty, because then you start getting obstacles on the map and whatnot. But I think once that happens, it still is nice gameplay wise. But I guess if you break it down to the basic bare bones of the map, when you turn the obstacles on, really, you're just having to dodge things. It's not really interactive. You're not going in water. You're not doing anything. But I do think the new Frozen map, when you go into the castle, was one of the coolest things that I've seen Disney Speedstorm do. And I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. If they plan to make this game continue for a very long time, I can see so many opportunities with so many Disney collections. Like, it will be insane. So I agree and disagree. Gameplay wise, on a bare bones scale, yes, I can see that, but also due to the nature of it, just I think they're making it a mobile game in general. So due to that nature, they might not be able to go crazy, but what they have done with the Frozen, I think it's going in that direction. So I do think that will change later on. I hope this map can bring some unique gameplay changes that happens when you go underwater. I don't know what, just something to make a new fun experience. How they make this map is how I see the future of this game. Are the devs able to take such risk, or will they continue same old flat maps? I'm excited to see what they do. True, I do agree that if they backtrack from Little Mermaid, then it kind of goes to show that they're not making the step forward. But I do disagree, because I do think that they have made, well, I've been here since day one, so I know the maps that they had, and you can see the transitions between what they're trying. Each map is different. So as an example, when the Lilo and Stitch map came out, right? What did they change? What was different? Well, you would see the waves crash on the side of the map. That's just not something that we've seen before. And you also see that you're in like the little, it's not the jungle, but I'm gonna just call it that, okay? You're in like a little jungle area, and then you come out to where you have, when you're on the beach. And then when you're on the beach, you go towards the town and you're seeing buildings and roads. So they do understand how to make multiple aspects of a map mash into one. It doesn't show it gameplay wise, as you were saying, but it is there in the creation of the map. And I think based off the limit of their budget and what they're making this game to be, I actually think that they're doing a good job with how it's designed. Another example is with the newest map of Frozen, right? The castle opens. You have little snowballs being shot down. You have the ice with the little, with the ice like floating around along the river. Like, they definitely took some risks. It's not going to be anything major, I could tell you that right now. There's not enough money to this game, I think, and on top of that, it doesn't seem like it's probably going to be something that they want to be their golden child of Gameloft games, unless they do switch developers. But I do think their team is amazing, and I do think they're going to bring something to the game that you're not going to expect, and you, along with all of us, are going to be very, very surprised. Hornet, thanks for the comment. I do appreciate it. Very amazing point of views, and it was a pleasure reading all that you had and talking about it with you. Let's move on to the next comment. The next comment is from Zaya, one of our Discord moderators, and they are a Poppin' Often with Lofton member. If you enjoy my content, if you want to help support the content that I create, become a Poppin' Often with Lofton member. Click that join button down below. You get some goodies, and I will suggest you check it out. Maybe you'll enjoy those goodies. Let's keep moving. I'm most excited to be an Ariel main. According to the leaks, I think she looks very nice. I do think Ariel looks really good. I think that all the characters will look good. I'm kind of curious as to how Ursula will look. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little curious as to how Ursula will look. I just can't see her in a cart, but I think they'll do a really good job. It's kind of like Genie, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't really know what they'll look like until they share it with you. But I am curious to see it. I'm trying to see Sebastian. No, I am. He's not going to be, he's definitely going to be a crew member, but how cool would it be to drive as Sebastian? I'm just saying, give me a mode where we could play as crew members. I'm down. Okay, let's continue. I also can't wait to see the other characters in their racing suits and confirm who they all are and their classes. True, that'll be really fun to see. I do think that it will be what, Ariel, Ursula, it's like the prince. Is he a prince? I don't really know his name. Possibly the dad. I'm coming dry. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat if you guys are watching this on the premiere. Who am I missing? Y'all know who I'm missing, but I don't know who I'm missing. But if I were to say there's only like 4 characters, I would definitely say it would be those 4: the dad, Ariel, the prince, and then Ursula. But I just feel like there's more that I'm missing. Let's keep going. An underwater map would be amazing to race on, and I look forward to listening to the songs that they decide to remix. They always do a great job with the music. True. And honestly, I think the Aladdin music, for how, when you think about it, right? Like Frozen, the music for Frozen is more modern, but when you're taking music from like Aladdin, that's an oldie. And they took one of the more slow songs and they turned it into a banger. So I can't even imagine what they're gonna do with Under the Sea. If they just go for Kiss the Girl and not Under the Sea, I'm gonna be mad. No, because you're driving Under the Sea. Y'all better remix Under the Sea. People that are working at Game Loft that's working on that music, y'all better be working on Under the Sea, for real. I could just imagine Under the Sea, Under the Sea. I'm hyped. Bring it. Calm it down. Calm it down, Papa. Chill. Podcast, remain calm. Let's move. But I really can't wait to see that. They do a really good job with music, and that's one of the things that I like about Game Loft in general, or at least some of the teams at Game Loft. Like, a lot of people might give Game Loft a lot of flack, but at the end of the day, the one making the choices is the ones near the top, right? It's not actually the people working on the game a lot of the times. So when you have like the music team or the design team, these people are just making a beautiful game for us to listen to and for us to, see. But they're not actually choosing whether they monetize or not. And so I always love to give credit to the people that are working on things like the UI, the maps, the ideas of a lot of these racing outfits, the ideas of what these characters look like, the sound. Like, I really do enjoy every single aspect of the game when it comes to my senses. The monetization thing and how it's ran is a whole different ball game, but we really do have to still appreciate that the time and effort that these people are putting into the game to make it look beautiful, to make it sound great, and to make us have an enjoyable experience, even if they can't control the necessary function of the game. You can still see their heart and soul put into a lot of what they brought to the game, and I really appreciate that from all of them. So if any of you guys are listening that work at that, I appreciate everything that you do, and it's kind of a shame that the game is ran how it is right now, and there's a lot of disagreements between everybody, but what you guys do, top notch. A round of applause 24/7. You guys are amazing, and I hope you guys continue to bring great content to us for real. And I don't know, I know some people that work in some companies, might get sad or something like that, because it's like, oh, people don't like the game that we're working on, and we're not even doing anything bad. We're really trying our best, and they're not liking it. Trust me, I notice it. It's beautiful. I love it, and you guys are doing a great job. Let's move on to the next comment. The next comment we have is from RVP Matt. You were in another video or another podcast. Again, subscribe if you guys want to see more podcasts. I do them every week. I appreciate you coming back and writing more. I appreciate reading it, and I appreciate knowing that you're taking the time out of your day to write it. All of you guys. So thank you guys for coming back to back. I love reading it. Even if you don't get into the podcast, I love reading it. And I'm going to try to get a lot more of you guys into the podcast if possible. They said, easily looking forward to new characters and a new map the most. Can't wait to see how they'll do Atlantica. Though I'll also be interested to technical changes they make to the game, buffs, nerfs, that kind of thing. I think as of right now, their main goal is to try to make it look pretty. I do think when enough people complain about nerfs and buffs, they'll fix it. But I think right now, the general population of Disney Speedstorm already understands that this game is very unbalanced, already understands that this game is very pay-to-win heavy. And then so if I were in their position, I would honestly focus on what can we change that wouldn't be too hard to adjust. So buffs and nerfs is something that a lot of people are talking about, but it's not going to be something that keeps people playing, and it's not going to be something that draws them into the game, right? They're probably going to have to focus on the things that people are actually complaining about now. The lack of resources has already been corrected, but now we have lack of shards, right? Instead of having buffs and nerfs to characters, just make a whole new system for ranked. That will satisfy it without even having to buff or nerf characters. They're going to have to make adjustments along the way, maybe throughout, but that's a lot easier to do than buff nerf characters that might not do anything. Think about it. What's going to draw more people to the game or veterans back to the game? We buffed and nerfed characters, or we have a new game mode that is more skill based than cash based. So it's hard, but I think their main goal is going to be just making it look beautiful, making it look perfect, trying to get people in based off how things look visually. And then from there, they might go ahead and do more things. I know they have the capability to do it, but again, it's always down to will they do it? And that's always what we get. We don't know. Like I always say, I would love to have a Game Loft person to talk to and just be like, why aren't we doing some of these things? What is going on? But RVP Matt, thank you for your comment. Let's move on to the next one. The next comment is from another Poppin' Off with Lofted member, Steven. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Let's see what they say. I feel embarrassed about it towards all of you, but I have never seen the cartoon/movie, so I'm simply looking forward to a new map with music. An underwater world could bring us very cool lighting effects and bright colors. Look, don't feel bad, Steven. There's a lot of Disney movies that people don't actually know, which is a lot of the times I think what they expect. It's hard to have Disney movies that everybody knows, but I think that might be one of the reasons why they don't do Peter Pan. I know that's something that a lot of people want, but I think Peter Pan wouldn't be a good idea because it's just not going to bring as many people to the game. And I think a very large portion of the game doesn't necessarily even know Peter Pan like that. Like me personally, I can't remember anything from there. I just know it's a boy that comes into like an orphanage with like magic or something like that, and then they just leave to his world, I think, and then they fight Captain Hook, and then they come back, and she's like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. It was always so boring being in the orphanage. I don't know if that's exactly what happens, but that's just what my brain sees. So them doing something like that will definitely be a hit or miss. So that's what I'm saying. Don't feel bad. I think they understand that people don't really know a lot of these things sometimes, especially when it comes to special characters. So I mean, the amount of people that didn't know Oswald or Hortensia was hilarious. The amount of comments, there's just like, we have no clue who these characters are, but and honestly, I don't know them either. I like the way that they look. I like the way that they sound, but there are some characters where it's like, bro, who are these people? Like I've never even heard of these guys before. So don't feel bad, Steven. Thank you for leaving the comment. It was definitely a very good comic relief. I love it. Continue to comment. I would love to continue to have you on the podcast. You always bring such humor to your comments, and you always are so positive and optimistic. So thank you for the comment. I do appreciate it. Let's move on to the next comment. The next comment is from Nano Blaster. You don't need to quit commenting. No, I'm tired of you, Nano Blaster. No, because you in every single podcast, because you always got something interesting to say. Just don't post nothing. No, I'm just playing. I really love when you comment. I love when all of you guys comment. When you guys give me something to talk about, it's awesome. I love trying to give you my point of view, and I love seeing your point of view. So please, guys, continue to comment, continue to share your thoughts. All of what you guys say is important, even if you feel like it's not important. Even if you're saying, oh, it's just, I like this, it's fun, or I think that. I still think that's important, and I still think that it's nice to know what you feel about the game or whatever podcast I decide to do in the future. So thank you. Let's get into it. It's two things for me. First, I'd like to see what kind of changes Gameloft makes for the game next season. Season 5 is the second season since free-to-play went live, so I feel like they should have learned a lot from Season 4 and 5. That's actually the same thing that I was thinking. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, you have two seasons under your belt at this point. If we don't really see any major changes, then I think it goes to show they may not be listening to a lot of the stuff that we're putting out, because everybody has a lot of great ideas, and even if it's through like negative lenses, you know, I have seen some Reddit posts and stuff like that, or some feedback in their Discord where it's very negative. But the thing is, it's not negative because they're being malicious, it's negative because they're hurt, and sometimes that's what comes out. And that I still think is valuable information. Just because someone is being negative doesn't actually mean they don't have anything important to say. It just means they're hurt right now, and they can't believe it, right? And so we're distressed. And so they have so much feedback, and everybody has such great ideas and such good perspectives on the game. I do feel like they should be able to make some changes to Season 6. And if they don't, we definitely see how they are planning to run the rest of this game. Let's move on to the next section of this. I'm really excited for the map. True, as I said before, Gameloft usually goes crazy with their maps, and Frozen map is amazing alongside the music. They can do so much with the map. They can make it be in Atlantis. The underwater effects would go crazy. Increasing the map pool is for sure a good thing. I agree. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that it's better to have one map with a lot of variations, or have one map with no variations on a smaller scale and having it so you have multiple maps to play? I thought about this, and I think I might actually want smaller maps but more of them. And obviously limitations, I understand that might not even be possible. I do get it, you know, but if something like that does happen in the future, I think it would be rather cool Because a lot of these maps, what they do is they try to shove a whole bunch of concepts into one map. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but think about it. Think about it this way. You know how I was talking about the Lilo and Stitch map? You have like the little jungle area, then you have the beach, and then you have the street. In Frozen, you have the castle, you have the street, and then you have like the snow mountain area, right? Well, instead of shoving it all in one and making multiple variations, what if we just had 3 tracks with no variations? And you would have a castle level on a smaller scale, so you don't have to go crazy with these effects and these graphics and stuff. You have a castle level, and it's under the Frozen collection. You have a mountain level under the Frozen collection, and then you have a street level, which is under the Frozen collection. In every single collection that they have, the movie is 2 hours to 3 hours long, more or less. This means there's a lot of different scenes inside the movie they can take inspiration from and actually create multiple maps without having different variations. That was very long-winded, I know, but that's just something that I would personally like to see. I would like to get rid of the variations, and I would like to just see more maps in general. You don't have to go crazy. It could be on a smaller scale, but I definitely think, especially if the budget is limited, it's just a lot better to put a lot less effort into one major map and put it into little, 3 separate little maps or 4 separate little maps, especially because in our brain, even if it's a variation, we kind of still see the same map. However, if it's 3 different maps, our brain is going to see that it's 3 different maps, And I do understand there's variations that do things like make a pathway off, so you have to go a different way, and it does look different and it does feel different. But to an average player, they might just see it's the same map. To more hardcore, more people that are perceptive, they'll probably see like, oh, it's actually multiple variations. That's crazy. So that's just my thoughts on it. But I would definitely like to see them do something crazy like that. I think that would definitely help with the game, giving us more things to chew on, so to speak. Nano Blaster, again, I appreciate the comment, man. I appreciate you writing in. Let's move on to the next comment. Poke Vapor Wife, always with the ideas. Another popping Optimal Lofter member. Again, thank you, Poke Vapor Wife. I appreciate the support. I appreciate all you guys' support. I don't even remember if I said it to everybody, but if I didn't, I appreciate all of you guys' support. If you want to become a member, of course, click that join button down below. There are some goodies down there. Check it out. See if it's right for you. Let's go ahead and hop into it. Now, I did see multiple comments from Poke, but I wasn't going to put them all in there. But I definitely recommend you guys to go back to that post real quick. Well, not now, but like after the podcast, and check it out. It's amazing ideas, and they actually talked about some pretty heavy topics. So highly recommend check that out if you guys haven't went to that community post after you post your message. So the first thing that they said, they have 2 random ideas. Have parties/groups of friends larger than 3 that can go into ranked or regulated. Okay, what's the second one? Well, actually, let's dissect this. I know it's short, but let's dissect it. There's like pros and cons, I think, to the parties and the groups things in ranked and regulated. And that could be, it's hard. Okay, so let's break this down. There are 2 types of players in Disney Speedstorm: the casuals, the hardcore. Within those 2 groups, there are subgroups. If you're a casual player, you're probably a subgroup of I only play Season Tour, or you're a subgroup of I also play multiplayer, but I don't really care. I just chill. I hang out. Then you have the hardcore where it's like, well, I bust my butt to be really good at the game. I don't really cash, but I still like to try to do my best. That's the best I can do. Then you have the actual cashers where it's just like, I put a whole bunch of money into this game. I'm going to be at the top of the leaderboard. Bro, come see me. I'm stacked. Those groups, paired with having more than 3, would make it very hard for everybody to enjoy the game. And I don't know if you've ever ran into a 3-stack that had like cash and stuff like that, but it's not fun. And it's even worse if like someone's streaming, because then they'll all snipe that person, and it's even worse. So that's hard. That's very, very hard. And I feel like a change like that would need to be looked at carefully, because even right now with a group of 3, it's rough. As far as regulated goes, though, I think that'd be a great idea, especially because you get points just for playing. You don't need to win. You get points just for chilling and hanging and having fun. Again, though, it can be abused if people say, well, I'm going to let this guy get in front of me so they can get more points, or I'm going to come in last so that my friend can get, again, it could be abused. So they would have to figure out how can they pull this off without having a system be abused. Because one thing that I've noticed about Gameloft is they're very smart about making sure that you're not done before they want you to be done. They're very smart at limiting how much you can do. And that's a mobile game company for you. Mobile games try to limit you because they don't want you to be finished too early, because you'll leave the game and you'll never come back. So they do a very good job at handicapping you, so that way you can't continue on. If you do something like that, you're making it so that people can complete things way faster. And we already seen something like this abused in early access, and I think even close to free to play. People would just go in the rank and let their friends win, and that's how they climb the leaderboard. Or they have multiple accounts or something like that. And I mean, I think I still even see it today. You have someone who will have RB on, play with them, and that way they don't lose as many points because the person in last is actually a fake account. Like, there's just a lot of abuse. You see it in the light of a fun game, but again, there's another group that's very hardcore that will use and abuse the system because they want to be at the top of the leaderboard. They don't want to, you know, they want to, like, they just want to do as much as they can and figure out ways to wiggle the system so they can get more out of it. That happens in every game. It's not just this game, but that is one of the major things that I think will need to be thought about before they implement that. But it's not a bad idea at all. I just know that if they dropped it just like that, there'd be some complications. What's the second thing? Have a dedicated multiplayer mode where you can party versus party, 3v3, 4. Ooh, oh baby, that's a good one. I like that one. That's a hot one. Ooh, I never even thought of that. Imagine 3v3 or 4v4. Like, that'd be crazy. I guess the issue with that one would be, how do you know that you're going to be able to go against another person? Like, are we talking we would just have it so that we all play as a group and we have a team versus a team and that other team is your friend? Or are you talking about random matchmaking? Because one of the problems with making more playlists in a game that's already like decreasing in player count is you're going to have it stretch even more thin, which means that the more modes you have is not necessarily the best. It's worse, because if there's 10 people wanting to play this mode, 10 people wanting to play that mode, 20 people wanting to play that mode, it's stretched so thin, it's like people might not even find the game. And we're already having problems finding games. So that's rough. That's a very smart idea, though. I like that. I really do like that. But based off the player count, it might not work. But if you want to have like your friends versus more friends, or like a community thing, that'd be fire. I think that'd be awesome. We already do want team modes for sure. But they'd have to make it so matchmaking can put one random person with the group or one random person with the team, and still make it go, you know, pretty decently well matchmaking wise. Especially if they added a new mode that would make it so that we're spreading the player base more thin. That was a very good idea, though. Thank you, Poke, for writing down your ideas. Again, if you guys haven't checked out the other things that they have been writing, check that out. Solid material, worth the read. Even comment on it. They'll most likely comment back. They're very active. Poke, we appreciate all you do. Let's move on to the next comment. The next comment is from another Sayuz. I probably mispronounced the crap out of that. I apologize. Please don't be angry at me. But I always love reading your comments as well. I see you comment a lot, and it's always hilarious because you always got something funny to say. Like Sebastian as a racer. I mean, look, I'm telling you, the comedy every single time they comment. I don't know what to expect. It'd be nice if they add some sort of story to the season tour, like some comic panels for maybe Mickey, Goofy, and Donald as they visit the worlds, kind of like Kingdom Hearts. But I guess that's too much to ask. Actually, I had that idea even before Free to Play dropped. As an early access player, well, I would actually spend a lot of hours on this game. I mean, I still do. But as someone who spent a lot of hours on the game, you get to the point where you kind of have everything. What's next? And so when they add new season tours, for me personally, and it's probably why they made it harder to do the tours now, because if you already played and you're from early access, you could just, the tours are very easy. It's like a checklist. It's like a chore. It's not actually like, oh, we're doing this for fun. It's like, well, we have to do it and we'll blaze right through this season tour because we're stacked. It's easy. So I think that's kind of what they're trying to do right now, even though a lot of people don't agree with how they handle the tour chapters and whatnot. It's kind of like they're trying to make sure that both parties are going to have fun. People that cash all the time, people that are really been playing for a long time, they're gonna blaze through season 4. How can we handle this? But at the same time, obviously, if you make it harder for those guys, it's gonna be extremely harder for the new guys. So I don't know what they're doing there, but that is definitely something that I thought, because I was like, if I were to have to do this as a checklist, if I can blaze through a season tour, yeah, materials and stuff is great, but like, can I get something else? And I think a comic book of what you're saying is a great idea. I had that same exact idea. I think it's awesome. I think it's amazing. Just imagine, even if it's not a comic book of Mickey going to different worlds, it could be a comic book of how the movie played out. Something super simple. Like, okay, chapter 1, Elsa and Anna were young children and they played together and blah, blah, blah. Then chapter 2, Elsa and Anna played a little bit too hard and Elsa hit Anna with one of her magical powers. And just as that goes, you learn the movie without having to watch the movie, and they can even put Easter eggs in there for those who have watched the movie. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. You're not wrong. I love that. I really do love that. Another Sayus. I apologize if I messed your name up, but great comment. Thank you for writing in. Again, I always appreciate the comments that you leave. Let's move on to the next comment. Silas Bailey's is the next comment, and they said, season tour changes they need are not excluding players out of nodes because they do not have specific characters. Again, I think that was just because players that have everything, or the players that spend hundreds and thousands and whatever, they already have so much. It's like they're playing through the tour and don't get anything fulfilling out of it. So why are they doing it? And I think the way that they're trying to balance that is by making it so that the people that have everything struggle. But again, it just makes it so that the people that don't have anything struggle even more. And that literally defeats the purpose, because now everybody's struggling when it was just this group. They need to do something where it's like, if you have a lot, or if you played for a certain amount of time, you have to do the mission this way. If you don't have a lot, then we're going to let you, like if it's your first season, we'll let you we'll like handicap you in a way where it's like, okay, it's your first season, all your missions are Donald, Goofy, and Mickey. That way you're not missing out on anything, but after that season, it's like, okay, now you're hanging with a bunch, right? So based off when you joined, I think would be a great way to gauge how the season tours ran. But I know that's gonna take a lot of resources, and I know that's probably not gonna be something that they're gonna do, but that's like the best thing I can think about to remedy the situation. Let's keep reading. Maybe they could limit this to any character in the series, or it would help if they let us see or know what characters we will need and requirements before it's too late and waste resources on other characters. True, 100% agree. They do that a lot, and I think that's a money-making strategy. If we don't tell you specifically what we're gonna do, then you're gonna use all your stuff. And when it comes, you're gonna be pressured so much that you're gonna need to spend cash anyway. You know what I mean? And that's something that I think is kind of underhanded in a way, but it's also not like a malicious thing. It's a smart tactic, because obviously if you know what they're gonna do beforehand, you might already be ready and prepared for it, which means they kind of lose money in a way like that. And I don't like to think of it that way, but at the end of the day, that it is a business. It needs to get a way to get money out of you. Yes, the way that they ran it is not the great way, but they are stuck with this way. And the best way to continue to do it is going to be like committing to the monetization that they have already. If we make it so that you waste everything first, something comes and you want the fear of missing out, or you have the fear of missing out and you want to hurry up and get it and all that extra good stuff, then you're most likely to pay, which means that they kind of get more money for doing that. I don't know how they'll fix that so that they will continue to get money while doing that, because that's extremely hard. I know some people won't pay if they have I know some people won't pay if they don't have the fear of missing out, or some people won't pay if they don't need to. It's just like deals at a store, or like games on sale. Some people don't actually buy the deal or pay for the game on sale until it's the last day, and then they pay. Again, it's just the fear of missing out. And so I don't know how they'll fix this to get money still, because that's their money-making scheme right now. How Gameloft makes money usually is going to be fear of missing out. We're gonna pressure you so you feel like you have to pay. And if you don't, like, we're gonna pressure you in a way where it hurts. And if it hurts so much, eventually you're gonna cash out or you're gonna quit. And we're gonna take that chance. We're gonna flip that coin. Another way is leaderboards. We understand that the more you pay, the higher on the leaderboard you can get. So let's keep it this way. So that's another way we can get money. And there's like another way that I think where it is, but I forgot. But basically, you could tell based off how they're selling things. You could tell based off how the shop is ran. And if you actually look at it and pay attention to it, and if you pay attention to what they change every single time they do shop updates, you'll start to notice they're changing it with a thought process. It's not just random. I think way too much on things sometimes. So, I notice it, but an average player just wouldn't notice it. They wouldn't really care. And if you already pay, you don't care either until it negatively affects you. But I've been paying attention to how that shop rotates. I've been paying attention to what they try to give you. I've been paying attention. There's thought behind every single penny that you might spend, and they're very smart at doing that. So I don't know if that's something that they're going to change, because that's the way that the game is ran right now. Making season tour multiplayer some way would be great change too. I agree with that. I think a multiplayer season tour would be great, because then you can actually play with people together collectively. I would really love to go through multiple nodes with someone else or with a group or whatever, and we just hang out and chill. Because I understand that this is a cart game, but sometimes you don't want to go against another player that's your friend. There's multiple games that I have not yet played or I never bought because it's a 1v1 or there's no team mode in it. Right? And sometimes the friends that you played with or your significant other, you already know that you're better than them. So why on earth would you play a game that you would smash them at repeatedly? It's not as fun. But having the season tour makes it so that even if you are better, it doesn't matter. We're hanging, we're having a good time. Oh, you have to run that and get that mission? All right, let's run that together. Let's see if you can get that mission. It's better. It's not a major fix. I think some of the missions will need to be able to be completed together. So if it says drift 12 times, we'll use both of our drifts combined so we can complete it together. But, I think that's a great, great, great idea. Silas Baileys, I do appreciate your comment. Thank you for leaving it. You leave great comments, I've noticed as well. A lot of very constructive comments. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, it's very constructive, and I always like reading it. If you disagree with me, I don't mind, but keep it respectful, keep it constructive, and I really love seeing your point of view for real. Let's move on to the next one. The next comment is from Zeke Slider. Oh, the man Zeke. What Zeke got to say? My excitement for this season is rather low because of this current season. Okay. I cannot even get excited for the mystery characters, knowing that they will more than likely follow the same top 5% format as Wally and Hortensia. That's true. And I think the reason why they did that 5% thing is because they know Wally was a cash cow. I mean, point blank period, everybody was excited for Wally. Even before Wally was a thing, they already knew people liked Wally. So what's the best thing to do? Let's shrink the numbers so that the people that don't get Wally, or the people that are gonna stress out to reach top 5%, they gonna buy it. And I promise you, a lot of people bought Wally. I'm certain they got so much money out of that Wally. But again, that's one of their main tactics, right? It's to pressure. And I'm not saying don't spend money. That's never going to come out my mouth. I'm never going to say, don't spend money. Start spending money, guys. This is the reason the game is blah, blah. I don't care what you spend money on. I'm just saying what I've noticed. And that's one of the things that they do is they'll pressure you. The best way to pressure you is by numbers. If you see that you got to get top 5% or top 15% and you can't do that, they know you're going to buy for a character that you like. It's it's a super easy way to get money, because either you're going to quit or you're going to buy. And even if you don't play it as much, you're going to buy your character anyway. Why? Because you're like, bro, I don't even play this game that much, but I really, really want Wally. So I'm just going to buy him anyway. They get that money. Again, Game Loft is not dumb. That's one thing I will give Game Loft. Game Loft is very smart when it comes to how they will get money from you. Whether or not I agree with how they do it, that's a totally different topic. But I do think they're smart about it. They are not dumb when it comes to how can I get money out of you without you really noticing what we're doing. And again, I'm not saying that they're doing anything malicious. They are a business that needs to run, and they understood how to do it. They're very smart with it, for sure. The next thing that they say is the only thing that can bring it back up is a return to basics. Golden Pass having Eric as a free character, Ariel as a paid character that comes with the pass, and Ursula as a special season-long character in a time-limited event. Mystery characters being out just for participating in the race, with more shards, the better you do. That's the only thing that will make me excited again. That's hard. The thing is, the more that they give you for free, the more money they're gonna lose. And people that have worked in the gaming industry, or people that have worked in an industry that's more of a service base, whether it's the gaming industry or not, just kind of a service based thing. If you want to keep it long running, you can't just keep giving stuff out for free, because you're going to be losing a lot of money. As an example, Riot Games will give you Hex Tech boxes for playing. Those Hex Tech boxes will give you free skins. You might be thinking, well, Riot Games gives us free stuff. Why can't other games do it? Well, Riot Games gets tons of money from other games. And they probably already came to the conclusion that most people probably have all the skins. And so with that in mind, it's kind of like, let's just do this. It makes them happy. And if they want, they can buy Hex Tech boxes. So now they're giving people stuff for free, but they're also saying you can get more boxes and have another role if you want to pay for it. Otherwise, you can just buy the skin outright. So the difference between Speedstorm and the difference between something like League of Legends is that Riot gives you options. They give you options of how you want to buy what you want to buy. Disney Speedstorm kind of puts it so they're in a funnel. You need to do it this way or you're not getting it. And I think that is the issue right here. And so just giving things away for free is not going to fix the issue. Yes, it's going to say that, okay, more people might want to play, but it doesn't really guarantee that they'll want to play. The game is fun to a point. When you start climbing in rank, or when you start getting more serious about Speedstorm, it starts to become not as fun, and not in a way where the game design itself isn't fun, but just in a way of how stats are allocated and how they function in the match. That's more of where the funness comes from. If you think about Mario Kart, it's always fun because players can hop in with their friends. There's no real pressure to have better stats. There's no real pressure to be amazing at the game. You just play. It's more family friendly. Disney Speedstorm is very cutthroat. Disney Speedstorm is very aggressive. And obviously, the more cash you put into the game, the more stars and levels you have, the less you have to worry about being aggressed on, and the more you can focus on being aggressive. And again, that doesn't really make it so people want to play. It's going to skyrocket them into the unfun part about Disney Speedstorm, and that's going to make them leave anyway. On top of it, again, it's just the giving people stuff for free. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good thing, because they're going to lose money, and we need them to get money in order for the game to run. You could say, well, they can take money out of other games like Riot does, I think. I heard them talk on a podcast, something like that, and they were saying, well, we don't really take money from other games to put into other games. I don't really know. I think that's nonsense. I don't think they take a lot and put it into another game, of course, but I still think, Riot Games is a hub, and so I think all the money just gets funded into Riot Games itself, and how they use it is different. That's what I think. I could be wrong though. I don't know how they run their stuff. Riot Games is taking over the world, so they're doing something right, clearly. But when we're talking about Gameloft, I don't think that they would do that. I don't think all the money would go into a hub and then they would figure out where to distribute it. They have too many games to do something like that, and a lot of their games aren't necessarily high quality. I've seen some games and I've played some. Some of their games are good. I'm not gonna lie. Some of them games be jamming, but there's a lot of games that aren't that great. There's a lot of games that they have that have failed. You won't see it, but they have a lot of games that actually failed and just went straight under. So much so where it even got removed from platforms because it was performing so horribly. So I don't think that is something that they're going to do, because they're going to be losing money. And Gameloft does not like losing money. So, and even if they do lose money or something fails, they'll keep it up because they know that even a little bit of money is better than no money. And so I definitely don't see that happening, Zeke. I think that's a good idea, but it doesn't fix a lot of the issues with the game. And I think that's one of the major parts about it. Doing something like that is not going to fix the other issues. It's just going to be a band-aid issue. It's going to be like a band-aid fix, and people are still going to be angry down the road. If they want to save this game, if they want to improve Season 6, they need to do more than just have band-aid solutions. They need to have real solutions. And that is something that they're going to have to think really, really deep about. But on a positive note, I'm actually very, very excited to see what's coming out. I do want to see if they're going to do anything crazy, like Zeke said, something to give the players more of a oomph, so that they can play and enjoy the game as much as they want to. Remember to subscribe. That way you're notified for the podcast next week. I don't know what the topic's going to be, but you'll see the topic on Wednesday. Every single Wednesday, I post the topic and you guys can comment on it. And I really want to see what you guys think. Thank you guys for participating in this podcast. I do appreciate it. Thank you guys for all the comments you left. I loved reading them. Of course, if you want to carry on the conversation, come to my Discord, link down in the description below. We love talking to you guys. We love hearing you guys. Check out the other podcasts if you want to watch more. Until next time, you know what I always say. Thank you guys for doing what? Popping often. Was often.